Good day to you, students. I hope you guys are doing fine in your various homes. In our last class, we discussed environmental conservation, where we spoke extensively on water cycle to be precise. Today, we are still on environmental conservation, and we are going to discuss conservation of wildlife. Conservation of wildlife. To start with, what do we mean by wildlife? What are wildlife? Wildlife are the plants and animals that live in their natural habitat. Examples of these wildlife are the fishes of various kinds, kangaroo, tiger, even the birds that are flying and living on the tree. All these are examples of wildlife. Okay. How can we ensure wildlife conservation? What are the various processes or ways by which we can ensure an effective wildlife conservation? Number one, by avoiding an indiscriminate cutting down of trees. Don't forget that the trees you are cutting down is a dwelling place for some certain animals. If you as an individual cut down any type of tree, you have caused a very big harm to the lives of some organisms. Then the second one, by avoiding an indiscriminate disposal of waste. Some of us, we are fond of dumping our refuse in the water bodies. Don't forget that some of these refuse and sewage, some of them are acidic and toxic in nature. If you dump this in the water body, you are causing a lot of harm to the lives of the aquatics you have in the water body. By also avoiding the use of chemicals for harvesting of our fish. Some of us are into fishery. If you want to harvest your fish, you don't make use of chemicals. Instead, you make use of things like nets. Okay. Then the fourth one we have here is by avoiding an indiscriminate burning of bush. Now, when you set bush ablaze, you are exposing the lives of the animals, even the plants that dwell in this environment are into a great hazard. It can lead to extinction of animals, whereby the animals will move from that particular place because the place is not dwellable for them again. Then the last one, by establishing game reserves to protect animals from being hunted. You know, we have different states or different countries with game reserves where they can protect the animals from being hunted by human activities. Let's quickly look at Nigeria as a typical example of countries with game reserves. Wildlife reserves in Nigeria with their location. I know some of us must have visited, some of these wildlife reserves we're talking about. The first one is the Yankari Game Reserve, which is located in Gombe State. The Lekki Conservation Center in Lagos, some of us would have visited that place. The Cross River National Park in Cross River State. And we also have the Kanji Lake and National Game Park in the United States, Jos Wildlife Park and Zoological Garden in Plateau State. We still have many more of these. If you study your textbook very well, you'll see more of what we're talking about here. Now let's quickly look at the importance of wildlife conservation. Why do we need to conserve wildlife? The first importance here is it is used in tourism to generate revenue, income for the government. Secondly, it provides a continuous source of raw materials and food for people. Take for instance, in the production of paper, we make use of wood. So if you have, maybe by one reason or the other, you have cut down the trees you have in the forest, in the reserve, I believe you'll be short of raw materials in the production of paper. It prevents against extinction of animals. When you conserve your wildlife, all those animals will not have the zeal to run away from their natural habitat because they see this place as a very safe place to dwell. Then another one is it helps to maintain environmental balance. Whenever you have plants around you in the wildlife, you discover that you have sufficient oxygen for respiration to take place. And as these plants are giving out oxygen, you as an individual, as an animal, you are also what? Receiving the oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide for them to use when it comes to photosynthesis. Then the next one is it serves as a natural place where scientific research can be made. Some of our scholars, this is an environment where they can make a very good research. Then it helps to preserve some species of plants that are rare but have medicinal values. So the moment the scientists discover that this plant is fading off the environment, they prefer planting such plants in the reserve, where it will be very available for them to use as at when due. And I believe with these few points of mine on wildlife conservation, every student should be able to explain what wildlife is and what are the importance of wildlife conservation. And you must be able to mention some examples of game reserves in your country, Nigeria, as a case study. And this is just a few among the many more things we're still going to discuss in the Google Classroom. As you watch this, I pray that God bless you. I will be expecting you in the Google Classroom. Thank you.